Hi everyone, it's Tremia, and Buddy will show up somewhere in the background in a little bit. Having a hard time breathing. I need to go back inside and get back on my oxygen for a little bit. But this vlog, that's what it's about, is the pulmonary issues that I'm dealing with right now. I was hoping things would be further along as far as my treatment, but you know, it never goes in the time that we want it to go in. I've probably been seeing this pulmonary specialist at least a month, if not 5 weeks now, and you know, the main goal was to get me into pulmonary rehab for that inpatient for the 3 weeks, and that still hasn't happened, and I figured it would already be done and over with by now. And but my last call yesterday was we should have an answer by Tuesday. So hopefully this next coming Tuesday I'll know what's going on. And that's even, you know, we're just hoping and assuming that they'll accept me into the program, and you know, insurance and all that kind of stuff. But you know, it started out, I finally, you know, I was on oxygen for 2.5 years from pulmonary or respiratory failure that I had after a surgery. It turned into pneumonia, then respiratory failure. And I was on oxygen for the 2.5 years, did the stem cell transplant, and was weaned off of oxygen. And was doing fine up until October, when I went severe sepsis. You know, I went septic so many times last year, I don't know which one's what. But, and at that point, my breathing started to decline. And, you know, it's just a shortness of breath, can't breathe deep, you know, have the pain, the pleuritic pain when I breathe deep. And sometimes can't catch a breath. And then, you know, you get all panicky because you can't catch the breath. And, you know, it just kept on just slowly getting worse. You know, I'd mention it every time, you know, I'm having trouble with my breathing. And, you know, put the O2 thing on your finger and, oh, you know, you're not below 90. You know, sometimes it'd be like 90, sometimes it'd be 98, you know. But Medicare guidelines is it has to be below 89 for you to qualify for oxygen. So when I was in the hospital this last time with my stomach issues, you know, they had me on the poximeter the whole time, and they had me on oxygen the whole time, and I was still I'd drop down into the 70s, and it'd stay down in the 70s, then it would go back up to 98. So it's just like back and forth, you know, it's just not one consistent thing. And you go to the doctor, 98. And so, but my doctor did manage to get me on nocturnal oxygen, which just means I use it at bedtime. My oxygen company, they brought over a nighttime poximeter that I had to wear for one night. And, you know, it monitored my breathing and recorded it and my O2 stats, and it went down, you know, in low. I don't know how low it went, but I met the guidelines. And so I have the concentrator, the oxygen concentrator, which is good because that means I can use it at my own discretion. I'm not going to run out of oxygen because it just runs off of room air, and so I use it as needed. The bad thing is I don't have it to take with me. Like if I want to walk up the block, I'm still stuck. I can't do that. If, you know, go into town, short of breath, I'm short of breath. You know, I don't have the oxygen available to me. So finally, you know, I got into the pulmonary doctor. She wanted to do the sleep study. We did the sleep study, came back normal, no sleep apnea. My oxygen did drop some during the night while I was sleeping with oxygen on. She did my the breathing test, and that came back as asthmatic, and so she changed my inhalers up some, but that didn't really help any. And she's a really good doctor, but I get kind of confused. But Dwayne says he doesn't. He understands what she's saying. I don't know if it's just me not feeling well and getting confused, because she explained how I was asthmatic and that I was way above the guidelines and wasn't asthmatic. The pillars that she's given me, they're just not working, so she gave me different stuff to use in the nebulizer. And then she goes, my nurse is trying to, she's the one that'll follow up with the rehab, because I'll be in the Jim Thorpe rehabilitation program at the hospital. And but she wasn't there that day, and that was last Monday, I believe, a week ago, or well, it'll be 2 weeks this coming Monday. So it's been about 10 days, 12 days, and she'll call you the next day. Well, this nurse never calls you back the next day. You'll talk to her and she goes, okay, I'll call and I'll find out and I'll call you right back. You never hear back from her. And so I'm constantly having to call her back, and I said, I'm sorry that I'm having to, feel like I'm bugging you. Oh, no. And I want to ask her, is that just a figure of speech? I'll call you right back? Or, is it just a figure of speech? Like, let's go get a Coke, and it doesn't mean you're going to get a Coke, you're just going to get a soda, or are you, that far behind and just not caught up? Or, am I supposed to be expecting this phone call right back or not? Because she's told me that at least over the month 10 times. That's how many times I've been on the phone with this nurse. And she's nice and everything. It's just things aren't happening in a timely manner. And I mentioned it to the doctor, and it was not anything she cared to hear about. It didn't upset her or anything. She didn't, treat me mean, but it's just they get things done, and the time that they get the things done. And it seems like when it's involving your breathing that it would be a little bit quicker. And she always goes, well, how are you doing? The same? Worse? I need help. Help me breathe. So the last time I saw them, last week, they sent me back to the hospital to have a lung perfusion scan done, which checks for microemboli in the lungs. So, little miniature ones that you normally can't see. It's a special scan, and I'm assuming everything was okay, because they let me leave the hospital, and they haven't called me to say that I have blood clots in my lungs. So they've done that. So now we're just, and she goes, well, I talked to her later. I guess it's been about a week now, and I talked to her a week ago, and she goes, I called Jim Thorpe and they need all this paperwork sent in. It's like, really? You think? And she goes, I gotta send in all this paper, and they want to know this and that and blah blah blah. And I said, if you need some help from my rheumatologist, she has all this paperwork, she knows all about all this stuff. But she didn't, as far as I know, she didn't contact my rheumatologist. And she goes, I'll have an answer by Thursday, which was yesterday. Today's Friday, and I don't know when I'm gonna post this, but and I called her. She goes, well, I haven't heard back from them. Let me call them and I'll call you right back. And I just said, okay. And she actually did call me back. It was about 2 hours later. It wasn't right back. And she said that they still hadn't finished reviewing my file and that they should have an answer. She goes, I should know something by Monday, but if you don't hear from me by Monday, call me Tuesday. And it's like, okay. And it's just like, I just want to breathe. But, you know, and the doctor agrees it comes down to the steroid myopathy, where, you know, just the loss of the muscle from the steroids, and I don't have the strength to breathe deep. I don't have that, and that pulmonary rehab, well, they'll work on getting that strength back into my diaphragm and into the muscles. They'll teach me how to breathe more efficiently. They'll do all sorts of stuff, and plus I think they'll also do physical rehabilitation on my general steroid myopathy in my legs and my arms, and, you know, get me going good. And I still don't like the idea of being gone for, you know, 3 weeks in a row, but we'll see how, you know, maybe it'll take that long, maybe it won't. I'm just like, not frustrated with the doctor's office, just kind of dumbfounded. I just wish, you know, it was further along than what it is, because, you know, the other night I went to bed and I forgot to put on the oxygen, and I couldn't get to sleep. It was like I'd fall asleep and I'd wake up real quick, and I'd fall asleep and I'd wake up, and at about 3 o'clock in the morning I realized, oh, I don't have on the oxygen, and I put on the oxygen and I fell right asleep and slept like a baby the rest of the night. So, you know, hopefully everything, this lupus flare, to me, lupus, I don't like using the word flare, because it's like I never go out of a flare. It's always constant. You know, it's just lupus. There's something constantly being attacked in my body, you know, whether it's my pulmonary, whether it's my GI, whether it's my eyes, you know, I'm at a constant. I've never had rest or peace from it for 10 years, 10 plus years, and that's since I was diagnosed. And I know now from things that they're diagnosing now that I've had all my life. So that was lupus when I was 5 years old, you know. So hopefully we'll get the answers on the pulmonary and get it all straightened out so I can breathe. My rheumatologist, she's kind of concerned about it being inpatient. She goes, because, you know, when you're immunosuppressed, you go to the hospital, you get sick because of the germs. And I said, well, you know, it's on just, bless you, buddy, it's on the rehab floor, you know, it's not on a different floor, so hopefully, you know, we'll just see how it goes. And that, you know, I definitely don't want to pick up any infections or sicknesses while I'm there. I just got rid of the c-diff and the candida. Still dealing with the vasculitis. Don't need anything else added on top of it, especially pneumonia or anything like that. So, waiting for that phone call. She'll call me right back. I'll see you guys in the next video.